sister, my immediate senior sister, Nkechi Aguzo, she got married traditionally. All right was paid. On the 5th of January, I got married to my own wonderful husband. Traditionally, everything was paid and the wedding was done successfully. And on the 6th of January 2024, our firstborn, our Ada, in fact, she got married to the man of her heart desires. What God cannot do does not exist. What Jehovah God cannot do does not exist. My name is Chinoya Aguzo, and I'm doing this testimony from the United Kingdom. I'm giving this testimony on behalf of my two sisters, Chidebere Aguzo and Nkechi Aguzo. I want to thank God for breaking over 20 years of marital stagnation in my house. We are 6 sisters in numbers, and it has been a struggle to get married. Our own firstborn, our Ada, it was like a no-go area for her. We kept believing God, we kept praying, and in 2020, we joined NSPPD through a friend. In fact, my parents are devout members of this altar. We kept praying, and last year, Papa, you kept prophesying and kept saying that women in their 40s, women in their 30s will get married.
Women in their late 30s, women in their 40s, women in their 50s, women in their 60s. I've been remembered. I've been remembered. All about their spouses have been released. Their spouses have been released.
That was how we held on to this word. We held on to the testimonies of others, that if God can do it for these other women who get married at this age, they will also do it in my own family. Papa, it was a big shock how God did it. It was like, in fact, the whole village is still talking about it till date. On the 4th of January 2024, my sister, my immediate senior sister, Nkechi Aguzo, she got married traditionally. All right was paid. On the 5th of January, I got married to my own wonderful husband. Traditionally, everything was paid and the wedding was done successfully. And on the 6th of January 2024, our firstborn, our Ada, in fact, she got married to the man of her heart desires. Papa, we least expected this marriage. In fact, we knew about this marriage a day before the marriage. Papa, the traditional rite was paid in full. The whole village, the whole my townsmen, in fact, everybody was shocked because they didn't even hear of the marriage till a day before the marriage. In fact, that was how they called them, and the whole thing was done successfully. It was just God everywhere. For 3 consecutive days, there was eating, there was dancing, there was celebration in my family. We want to say thank you to this God of NSPPD, for he alone is worthy to be praised. Pastor Jerry, we want to say thank you. Thank you for answering the call of God. Thank you for praying day and night for us. We can't thank you enough. We want to say, may the oil on your head never run dry.
What God cannot do does not exist. I am Farmer Mara. The Lady God has been showing mercy back to back. This is my testimony highlight. Due to time, I cannot give the full details of this testimony. On the 7th of July 2022, Pastor Jerry now said that write down 7 things that you want God to do for you and be specific on the date. I wrote down the 7 things I want God to do for me, and I was specific on the date. And I just closed the journal and left it there and forgot about it. Inside that journal, I wrote, I'll meet my husband and get married 2023, before the end of 2023. I wrote that my brother will travel abroad. I wrote a lot of things. I just wrote it. At that point, I was not in any relationship. Fast forward to 2023, February. Yes, I was on duty in the hospital and decided to go online. And that was how my husband found me. We started chatting, and by April of the same 2023, we met in person. We met my family. My parents approved the union. By June, I arrived at Lagos for our court wedding. But I arrived a day before. That day before, I decided I should go to the lab to go and do a test. We already booked with the hospital, so we both ran the test. When we ran the test, they told us that the result is going to come out the next day, first thing in the morning before the court wedding. I said, okay. When the result came out, it turned out that he was positive to hepatitis C. We're surprised, where did it come from? How? And then we went for the court. It turned out successful. On his way back to Kwara State, I said, okay, since you're going back, let's use this opportunity and move my things. I had a lot of things. I decided that, okay, we are going to use bus. On his way, he had an accident. It was a fatal accident. When you see that accident, you see that it was programmed to kill him because he was in front with the driver. But God did not let that happen. Instead, he broke a bone. That accident happened a week before our wedding. He was rushed to the hospital, thought he did a surgery, But we did the wedding. We got married on the 29th of July, 2023. After the wedding, while we were still in Port Harcourt, I had already booked an appointment with a gastrointestinologist concerning the hepatitis. We traveled back to base, and then when we traveled, he went for dressing to dress the wound that we thought they did surgery, because they told him they did surgery. While they were dressing the wound, he was screaming, and I was like, why is he screaming? Let me go and check what they are doing to him. So for me to come and check and find out that his bone was outside. I said, what do you mean? Who is the doctor that did the surgery? Now I went to go and meet the doctor. The doctor now apologized and said he did not really do the surgery. He just tried to mend the flesh and the bones. I said, but you charged him for surgery. He now apologized and referred us to a private orthopedic hospital. When we went to the private orthopedic hospital, the doctor started talking. He said that you have to pay this amount and pay that amount. I was like, excuse me, sir. We just got married a few days ago. This amount you're calling is too much. Where are we going to get the money? Moreover, I've left my job in Enugu. I've come to this town. Are you going to employ me? And the doctor was like, what are you? I said, I'm a pharmacist. And I said, please submit you. We have been looking for pharmacists for a while. Please submit your application. So see what God did. God gave me a job instantly. And then I said, since you're going to be a staff, we are going to subsidize the fee and charge or bill you as a staff relative. The next day, I started working in the hospital. It took me a while to settle down and unpack my things in my new home. But one day while I was unpacking my books, I got to see the jotter where I wrote down those things, those 7 things that I wanted God to do for me. Just when I was now going through them, the jotter, and I said, oh my God, God actually answered all the things that I wrote down, and I did not even know. This altar, they work. The next thing I told God, if you can take away this hepatitis that came from nowhere, I am going to boldly give this testimony to the glory of God. I now told my husband that let us go and run the test. No, he got reluctant. This is a test that we have done numerous times, and he showed us positive. He agreed. We both did the test. Routine check. In that test, I told the person she should add hepatitis to the test, hepatitis C. When the person did the test, Pastor Jerry, it turned out negative. I said, when the result came out, the way I screamed, he said, how will you shout? The way I screamed, I said, God, what God cannot do does not exist. Being a health person, I said, wait, let it not be that it is a mistake from this lab. I'm going to use another very recognized lab and run the test again. After a while, I waited for like 2 weeks. My husband went again to another lab, very notable lab, and went to go and do the test again. In fact, this time I said, let it not be that I'm making a mistake. Let us do hepatitis B and hepatitis C. Let it not be that maybe it has swim. This is the result. They both turned out negative. Pastor Jerry, may God continue to bless you. May God continue to bless you.
Hello, Pastor Jerry. Thank you for everything. What God cannot do, it does not exist. We're here to say thank you, Pastor Jerry.
The reason I went to jail was a friend of mine asked if I can pick him up, and I said yes, of course. I went to pick him up, and he offered to buy me gas, but he gave me a car that was not his, and I used it not knowing it wasn't his too. So that puts me in trouble, and I'm charged with fraud because I used someone else's car that wasn't mine. So that's what the law charged me with. I went to jail, and it was hard. I started praying to God, got closer to God. Each and every day I went to court, my first court date. Went there, it was to plead guilty or not guilty. I pleaded guilty because I used the car, of course.
They issued another court date for the 2nd of February. He have a first court date on the 27th of December. He went to court. After a while, they told the judge, said if he's guilty, he's going to go in prison for 5-6 years. Pastor Jerry, it was a tough one for me. But one thing I like about you said
there is a miraculous release from every prisoner. The Lord is releasing your loved one.
Pastor Jerry, in a year, I said, that's my son. I know that Pastor Jerry, your God had already set my son free, and I was happy in my closet. Pastor Jerry, when we went to the court, we were really scared, terrified. We didn't know what to do. So the 8 o'clock when we entered the courtroom, oh, Pastor Jerry, like the whole world coming up. The whole world falling out on us. My son was scared. I was scared. He looked at me, I looked at him. But I was still saying, I was still calling for mercy. The God of Pastor Jerry, show mercy. Show us mercy. Pastor Jerry said we don't have faith. The faith going to work in this court. Let the God of Pastor Jerry show up. Pastor Jerry, your God showed up. The joy came in, and she did not even sit down. She was standing up, and she called my son, Benjamin. And my son said, yes, ma'am, when he stand up. She said, we dismiss your case. You're free. You don't have no charges. You don't have no bond fee. You don't have no court fee. You don't have no probation. Everything that we plan to come, everything dismissed. We don't want to see you to court no more. Thank you, Pastor Jerry. Thank you so much that the God that you serve, I will never and ever give up on you. I always with you, Pastor Jerry. I'm your daughter, and he's your son, Pastor Jerry. We love you. Thank you. Amen. Amen. What God cannot do, it does not exist. Thank you, Pastor Jerry. We love you.
I'm producing this video. My name is Dorothy Jesumino Iriawene from Italy. I'm with my Tanya. She's my Collins. She will speak a little bit of Italian. She will explain. Then I will explain in English.
Ho un marito, una figlia e le ringrazio a Dio. Già avevo una cognata che ha avuto un tumore nell'utero e ringrazio, si è salvata con tutta la preghiera che abbiamo fatto con Dorothy. Quindi si è salvato per miracolo, perché io non era verso che per me lei era una sorella. Quindi con Dorothy pregare tutti i giorni, si chiama Anilla, che era più morta che viva e il tumore stava andando nel sangue. Quindi con la nostra preghiera, che abbiamo fiducia nel Dio, si è salvata. Quindi le ringrazio, sono molto contenta. Quindi continuo di pregare tutti i giorni, tutti i momenti. Quindi sono felice così. Grazie.
Pastor Jerry, I explained what she said. There was a fateful day. We were working together in the hall. We work in operation hall. So she received a call whereby she was crying. She fell on the ground. She was crying. I said, "What is wrong with you?" So she explained to me that she just received a call from the brother's wife that the lady have a cancer in uterus, and the cancer has already it's already in the blood. So she was crying. I told her not to cry, that what God cannot do does not exist. So she asked, what does that mean? So I told her there is a prayer, then a prayer where she will pray together with thousands of millions of people. Then where she will, with her faith, with the faith of everybody, then everything will go okay. When I'm online, I sent for her. So she said she doesn't understand English. I told her, don't worry about English, provided she's saying amen. When they say amen, she say amen. When they say fire, she say fire. Anything that Pastor Jerry is declaring, that all what she can say is amen. It doesn't mean if she understand or she doesn't understand. So she said, okay. So every morning when I online, Pastor Jerry declare cancer.
There is fire here, looking for cancer. There is fire here, looking for cancer. Anyone under the sound of my voice, with any form of cancer, I announce, let it be reversed.
I always write her name. Now she's okay. Everything they has declared her cancer free, so she's free. And I told her when everything is okay, we have to do a testimony to send to the church. So that is why we are doing the testimony now. So Pastor Jerry, thank you for all you have done in our life, for saving souls, for giving life to people, for your prayer every morning. Thank you, Pastor Jerry. We love you with all our hearts.
What God
cannot do does not exist.
I am making this testimony from the UK. My name is Alfred. I want to thank God really for what He has done for me, the God of NSPPD. God has shown me mercy, and I need to testify to His glory. Somewhere around April 2022, I was experiencing excruciating pain at my back. So I was wondering, what is all this pain about? So it went on for some time, and I decided to see my GP. So I make an appointment to see my GP. So the GP asked me to go through to go and have a test, MRI, CT scan, and all sort of tests. So I went through the test. So eventually the test came out to say I have been diagnosed with prostate cancer. Really, it broke my heart indeed. So that I make an appointment with the consultant, and he asked me to start my chemo. I told him that I have a God who will heal me, so I won't go through the chemo. He persuaded me for so long, but yet I told him I'm not going for the chemo. So I started praying with NSPPD. By then I had been introduced to NSPPD, so I took it seriously. In fact, I held on to it, and I was going on every morning. It wasn't easy to report to work within the morning shift and still go on NSPPD. But because of the pain and the result that came out to say I have prostate cancer, so I was on every morning. And initially the PSA was 149, which was really, really high. That made me feel that pain. So the doctor was surprising that definitely I need to go through this chemo. I said no, God will heal me. I believe that God will heal me. Anytime Pastor Jerry will come out to say God is healing people with prostate cancer.
Prostate cancer, disappear right now. Disappear right now. Disappear right now.
I will shout a big amen. I will scream a big amen. So the doctor has made it every 3 months to go through a blood test so that he will see the result and let me know about the result. So I stayed on the NPPD for the first 3 months. So the result came out to say my PSA has dropped to, from 149, it has dropped to 5, which was really amazing. So the pain really went down, really, really down. And another 3 months again, the doctor saw me. I went through the blood test again, and the result came out to say my PSA now is 2.5. My goodness, God is amazing. And then, in fact, the pain has really ceased. I don't feel any pain at all on my back. I don't feel anything at all. So I'm making this testimony to express my sincere gratitude to God for what He has done for me. And I also want to thank Pastor Israel and his crew for the amazing work they are doing in this our time and our generation. Pastor Jerry, God richly bless you, and all your crew members. I'm saying God bless you. And what God cannot do does not exist. What Jehovah God cannot do does not exist.
My name is Osas, and I'm giving this testimony from the United States. Like I like to address myself, my name is Elroy's daughter. So this testimony has been far due, and I have to give it today. I just want to thank God. Like, you know, when Pastor Jerry say, how will you shout? Oh, hey, I don't even know how to shout. 2021, I was diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer, and my life has never been the same from that time. During that period, I was hearing of NSPPD, but I've never participated. So during my chemotherapy, my sister sent me the link, and she said, my dear, you have to join this altar of fire. I said, okay. So I started joining, and by the grace of God, God saw me through chemo, surgery, and radiotherapy, and then I did an extra chemo. And from there, it was one appointment to the other. And I was very young. I was 31 when I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I never knew what breast cancer was. I was very healthy, so it was just all of a sudden, and it just changed my life. During this process, I kept praying. I stayed in the altar. I prayed day and night. Even sometimes when I'm at work, I put my earpods and, you know, I'm talking. I'm like, amen, amen. Some people are looking at me like, is she crazy? Yes, I'm crazy for the Lord. I say these people, they don't know where the Lord has brought me. If they only knew. Recently, I've been feeling another lump in my breast, the same breast. So I went to my doctor's appointment December for my MRI. So when I did my MRI, the result came back, and it says, I don't know if you can see, it said the result of your recent breast imaging evaluation indicate that you have an abnormality which may require additional testing or biopsy. They scheduled an appointment for me January 25th for my biopsy. So what I did is I told all my family, and I told them to back me up in prayer. On the 31st, Pastor Jerry said, put the list of things that is no. I put that one as number 1. I continued to pray and fast, and people were giving testimony about breast cancer, how God delivered them. I'm like, God, my case is not going to be different. I kept saying to my sister, I said, listen, this is my mantle of 2024. Hear me again, heaven and earth. My case is different. I have seen the God that has seen me. Elroy. Oh. I told my sister, I said, don't call me Osas again. From today, stop my number. Elroy's daughter is what you need to call me. So she made a shirt, a hoodie for me that says Elroy, the God that sees me. So on the 25th of January, that's the shirt I put on. And I kept saying the whole time, I have seen the God that has seen me. What God cannot do does not exist. So we went there. the radiologist told me, she said, we're going to start with MRI. If the spot that light up, if it lit up again, then we're going to do the biopsy. But if it doesn't, that means you don't have anything, you can go home. So I was like, God, please, let it not light up again. Let it not light up. Well, I was on the table doing my MRI. As soon as they did the MRI, I heard the lady was like, let's prepare the table. I said, oh, God, is it biopsy again? And I was so discouraged. My mind was like, don't do it, oh. Remember, you are a Roy's daughter. I said, hey, this year, 2024, we know they agree. Pastor Jerry said, no agree for anybody. I said this year, I no agree. I know they agree at all. Hashtag NSPPD. Hashtag NSPPD. I was saying it under the table. And those people, I think they were listening to me and they were thinking, this girl, she's probably not only having problems on her breast, she's probably having some problems here. I didn't care. After the biopsy, I stood up and I was about to go. I could read the people's face. They had already given me my diagnosis. They already thought I had something because they were like, oh man, you did so good. I'm so sorry. You know, they were having pitiful face. When I left there, I said, God, my case will be different. I said it. You have seen me. My case is different. So, you know, I went home. My parents, my husband, all of them, they prayed for me. They kept checking on me. So I was talking on the phone with my sister and the results came. I was at home. I was so scared. I couldn't open it. And at a certain point, I stopped talking to my sister. I said, what God cannot do does not exist. What God cannot do does not exist. What God cannot do does not exist. And I opened it. When I opened the results, hey, Jesus, yeah! How will I shout? It says that the biopsy is, the sample, the tissue sample they took is negative for any malignancy and no hyperplasia. Meaning no cancer, no abnormalities. I am healed, and I'm standing up with my full chest to say, I have seen the God that has seen me.